Okay, hi guys. So in this video, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing exponential equations, okay? So if you have not seen the exponential functions video, I highly recommend that you see that because that was when I was graphing exponential functions. I just did a really quick video on that, and if anybody has questions about that, you can ask me in the comments. But this video is focusing on exponential functions, so we're gonna get started right away. Okay, so we're gonna look at an example, and I'm gonna change my color really quick. We have 2 to the x minus 6 equals 4 to the 2x minus 1. Okay, now one of the rules that you have to do for this is you have to make the bases equal. So when you have something like, it's like, for example, if I had 2 to the x equals 4, I would say 2 to the x would be 2 squared. You see how these two numbers are equal, right? That's the same thing you want to do with this. So if I just color code this really quick, I'm just going to say 2 to the x minus 6, right? And if I put this as a 4, kind of like this, I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this as 2 squared. Okay, now, sorry guys. So, we're gonna rewrite this as 2 squared, right? And then you're gonna go ahead and put what you put on the outside, which was 2x minus 1. Now, notice that this is 2 squared. This is what we changed 4 as, right? And what you're gonna do next, you're going to kind of separate your 2 here out of the base. So what you're gonna do, the left side stays the same, okay? You're going to basically you're going to do something like this. So you're going to do 2 parentheses, and then you're going to do to the 2 times, and then you're going to put your function, which your 2x minus 1 basically. So that's how you're going to do it. Now, this basically, you can do something like this if you wanted to, but it's going to be the same exact thing. You're going to just say this is, now that you have the bases the same, you can go ahead and make them equal. So you're going to have x minus 6 is going to be equal to 2, because we have our 2 here, times 2x minus 1. And as you can see, it's a basic linear function. We're going to go ahead and distribute. So we have x minus 6. We're going to distribute our 2 into our function. We have 4x minus 2. And then what we're going to do next, we're going to go ahead and subtract x on both sides. We have, that'll give us negative 6 equals 3x minus 2. Okay. And then from there, you're just going to go ahead and add 2 to both sides. So that'll give you negative 4 equals 3x. And then finally, you're just going to go ahead and divide by 3 on both sides. So you're going to get x equals negative 4/3. Now you can plug it back in to make sure that it works. I'm not going to do that for this video because I just don't want to waste too much time. So we're going to go on to the next one, okay? So, the next one, we have 3 to the x minus 1 equals 27 to the x minus 9, right? And if you guys give me 1 second, I'm just going to turn the light on because it's getting dark. Okay, so Here, what you're going to do, you're going to go ahead, you're going to do the exact same thing you did on the last one. Try to turn this into, basically, if it's bigger than number or smaller than number, if this were a fraction, for example, we would try to make it into kind of the same base. So we want to go ahead and turn this into the same base, like in terms of 3. If we write out our exponents, we can say 3 to the 1 is 3. 3 squared, that's, you know, that's just, well, 3 to the first is 3. 3 squared is 3 times 3, which is 9. 3 cubed is 3 times 3 times 3, which is 9 times 3, which is 27, right? So we can change this function here, or this number here, to 3 cubed. We will have 3 to the x minus 1 equals 3 cubed, and this is our highlighted, our new number here. We can do parentheses to the x minus 9. Notice that I put parentheses also up here because you are going to end up multiplying or distributing when you make them equal. So we will have 3 to the x minus 1 equals 3 to the 3 times the quantity x minus 9. Now that you have your bases equal, which they're equal, these are your bases, so they're both equal. So now you can go ahead and make the top equations equal to each other, right? This will give you x minus 1, so you have x minus 1 equals, and you're going to distribute your 3 in. This is 3x minus 27. You're going to go ahead and you can subtract x on both sides, right? And that's only if you don't like working with negatives. So basically, you can subtract x on both sides. You will get 2x minus 27 equals negative 1. And then you will add 27 to both sides. You're going to get 2x, or 26 rather, equals 2x. This cancels out. And then you're going to go ahead and divide by 2 on both sides. And then you will have x equals 13. Okay. Okay, so on to the next one. And I'm only going to do 10 problems for this video. Number 3. Okay, so here is where it gets a little bit trickier. Yeah, it gets a little bit trickier, not too tricky, but it gets a little bit trickier if you don't use your rules right. Okay. So we have 1/3 to the x minus 1, okay? And that's equal to 9 to the 2x plus 5. Now, the thing is that right now our bases are not the same because we have a 1/3 and a 9. However, if you know if you remember from like when in arithmetic when you were taught 9 to the negative 1 is 1/9, 9 to the negative 2 is 1/81, and also like 3 to the first is 3, 3 squared is 9, so 3 to the negative 1 is 1/3, 3 to the negative 2 is 1/3 squared, which is 1/9. So it's the same idea here. You are going to apply these rules to this equation here, okay? It's a little bit tricky because you have to be careful. You have to really think about it. Now, so basically, if I look at this, I am going to go ahead and I'm just gonna say that this is a 3, and then I can turn 1/3. So if I kind of label 1/3 here, I can turn 1/3 into basically into 3 to the negative 1, okay? So now this is still going to be to the x minus 1 power. Now, if you guys really want me to label the parentheses, I will, just so I don't get you guys confused. So we have 3 to the negative 1, that's what this is, and I can even label this, actually I'll label it green. So we have 3 to the negative 1, right? And then we will have something, you know, basically it's going to be to the x minus 1, okay? So right here, you would say x minus 1. Notice how I did 1/3, I turned it to 3 to the negative 1. Now, notice, and then one more thing that I want to do, and then I'm just going to say 3, and I'm going to turn this, so this 9 here, I'm going to turn it into 3 squared, okay, to the 2x plus 5, because I want my bases to equal, okay? Now, bases meaning the very front number, you want them to equal all the time. And it's tricky, it really is, because sometimes we forget these little rules here, and it takes practice, guys, basically. And so what I'm going to do next is I am going to say that this, so now I'm going to rewrite this as 3 to the, so I'm going to go ahead and say 3 to the negative 1, and I'm going to put this in parentheses, x minus 1. I'm going to do the same thing for here. So I'm going to do, except what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my 3 squared, I'm going to put a 3, and then I'm going to say squared, but I'm also going to put some other parentheses and say to the 2x minus 5, or plus 5, excuse me. And so, and you can do that for here too, honestly. It really doesn't matter if it has 1 parentheses or 2 parentheses, you're still multiplying it. Either way, it doesn't really matter whether or not it has 1 or more parentheses. Like, basically, it doesn't matter how many parentheses you put on the outer parts of which you're separating the numbers by. So basically, so now what we're gonna do is, now that we have a 3 here and a 3 here, we're just gonna bring everything together. So we're gonna say that this is 3 to the negative 1, and since there's a parentheses here, we are multiplying. We're distributing our negative to our x minus 1. This is 3 squared, so however, do not rewrite this as 9 because that's what you started with, okay? I do not do that again. Do not rewrite it as 9, so be very careful. Do not rewrite it as 9. Just put it as as what you have for 3 squared. So you're going to say 3, and then you're going to put it in parentheses, and then you're going to put 2 times, and you're going to, since there's a parentheses here, you are multiplying 2x plus 5, okay? Now notice that we have our base is the same. We're going to go ahead and say negative 1, so it's basically negative the quantity x minus 1. If it helps you, you can put negative 1 is equal to 2 times 2x plus 5, okay? Now you're going to go ahead and distribute your negative, and you're just going to say negative x plus 1 equals 4x plus 10. and then you have another linear equation here. You're going to add x to both sides. This will give you 1 equals 5x plus 10. You're going to go ahead and subtract 10 on both sides. Okay. And then you're going to say, so this cancels out, you're going to say negative 9 is equal to 5x. And then from there, you're just going to go ahead and divide by 5 on both sides. And that'll give you x equals negative 9 fifths. Okay? And that's your answer for that one. And I know I'm going really slow, guys. I'm doing this for a reason. It's because I really don't want anybody to get lost. So please, this is kind of, it's not really as easy as you think at first. Sorry, guys, my dog keeps barking. Oh. So, yeah, so it's not really as easy as you think at first. That's why I'm going really slow. So please just kind of keep up with me. So for the next one, we have 1 over 5 to the x equals 125, okay? What we're gonna do now, this can be done in 2 ways. You can turn this into a power of, like the, basically into 5 cubed. However, so, okay. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't do that. Only because it's gonna make you more confused. You can do that if it gives you the right answer, but the way I did it was different. So notice that this is actually going to be, so remember how I taught you guys that anything to the 0 power is 1, right? 5 to the 0 is 1. We can turn this 1 into 5 to the 0. Okay? And we can turn this 125 here. We can turn it to 5 cubed, okay? We're going to turn it to 5 cubed. Now, this is, you have to use laws of exponents. And yes, that's another thing you have to know for this lesson is laws of exponents. If you don't know that, I will drop a link down below if you don't know your laws of exponents. But yeah, you will have to know laws of exponents. So yeah, so basically here, we're going to turn this to 5 to the 0 over 5 to the x. We're going to use laws of exponents. That means that we will have 5 to the 0 minus x equals 5 cubed. That means that 0 minus x equals 3, so negative x equals 3. So we're going to go ahead and divide by negative 1 to get our x, and then we have x equals negative 3. Okay, that's how you do that one. And then, let's see here. So then, okay, so then now we're gonna do number 5. So 5, we have 7 to the x minus 3 equals 7. Oh, now this one's a really interesting one, okay? You have to be careful. It looks intimidating. You have to be careful. So this is a challenge one, okay? I will say it's a challenge one because it's not very straightforward. So this one, what you're gonna do for this one, and let me make sure my camera is okay. What you're gonna do for this one is you're gonna go ahead. Now we have 7 to the x minus 3, and then one of the things that I'm sure that a lot of students will make mistakes on. I mean, because I'm not a teacher, but I know for a fact that I would make this mistake if I were not really educated on exponential equations and my exponential rules, like my laws of exponents. So basically, the one thing you don't do for this is say that this is 7, basically either 7 times 49 and then do this to the x and, basically you can say, oh, it's 7 times 7 squared to the x and then, 7 cubed to the x and then 7 to the 3x. No, don't do this. It's wrong, okay? Don't do that because that's going to give you a false answer. Now, what you actually do, you have to put 7, you have to put it in terms of 1. Now, I know what you're thinking. You might think like, why would I want to put it into 1 if it's already 7, right? Well, trust me, it'll help because you have to split these two, you have to split them into two different powers, okay? Now this one, we will put this as 7 to the first, right? So this is our 7, right? We put it as 7 to the first power, right? Our 49, we're gonna put it as our 7 squared, right? Because 7 times 7 is 49. So we're gonna do that, 7 squared, and then we're gonna go ahead and put it to the x, okay? Now, I would not recommend, I mean, you can, but it's just gonna be, honestly, I would not go ahead and say that this is 7 cubed yet, because honestly, yeah, that's not how you do it. So what this is saying is that you have 7 to the x minus 3. The left side always stays the same, by the way. You're gonna have 7, so basically you have 7, and honestly, like, what you're gonna say is you're gonna multiply these two, okay? You're gonna say 7 to the first, and then you're gonna go ahead and put your parentheses, and you're gonna say this is 7 to the 2x, right? Because anytime you have something like, anytime you have a to the 3 times x, it's literally the same thing with laws of exponents. When I said that a to the 6th to the 5th, that's a to the 30th. So a to the 6th to the x power will be a to the 6x power. That's exactly what I'm doing here. Now, the left side stays the same like always. You're gonna say, now you're gonna do basically any time, and this is where laws of exponents comes in, a to the b times a to the c equals a to the b plus c. Similarly, x to the m times x to the n equals x to the m plus n. Here, we have a 7. It's the same base, okay? We're gonna put this is gonna be 7 to the 2x plus 1. Now we do have the same base, so we're gonna go ahead and make them equal to each other, okay? We're gonna subtract by x on both sides, and then, and just to make sure, okay, so subtract x on both sides, right? And then you cancel this out, -3 equals x plus 1. You subtract 1 on both sides, you will get x equals -4. Okay. We're gonna do about 5 more. And I know I'm going really slow in this, guys, and I'm sorry. It's just that I really want to make sure that it's very, very understood, because these were not easy for me when I was in high school. They were not very straightforward, so it's really important that you bear with me on this. Hold on. So number 6, we have 3 to the x. Now these next ones are not really that hard, because one of the things that I forgot to mention in this video is that whenever you have the same base, so whenever you have the same base, meaning that the front term is the same, meaning that here's a 3, here's a 3, you just go ahead and make them equal to each other. They're already equal to each other. It's what we've been doing this entire video. We've been trying to make it look like this. Okay? We've been trying to make it look like this the entire video. That's your end goal, is to make it look like that so that you can go ahead and make it equal. They make the powers equal to each other, the powers of x, and make it into a linear equation and then solve for x. Now, because this is given to us that way, it's a lot easier and we don't have to struggle as much. We can just say x equals 5x plus 1, not minus 1, and then go ahead and subtract 5x on both sides. So you're going to get -4x, and then that will be equal to 1. You're going to go ahead and divide by -4. You're going to get x equals -1/4. Okay. And then let me go ahead and do the next one. So this is another very easy one. Number 7. 5 to the 2x equals 5 to the 8x minus 6. So this one is not... Okay, so this one's not really that difficult. And guys, if you heard any background noise, sorry about that. So yeah, okay, so this one's not really that difficult. You're gonna go ahead and do the exact same thing. So the bases are the same, so we're gonna make it equal. Okay, and then you're gonna go ahead and do the exact same thing. So you're gonna subtract 8x on both sides. You're gonna go ahead and do -6x equals -6. And by the way, guys, yes, you have to have mastered linear equations by this point. If I do have a video on linear equations, if you want to know how to do that. But yeah, it involves linear equations. Basically, anything like the next few lessons that I'm going to do with logarithmic and exponential functions are going to involve linear equations at some point, like to a certain extent. So okay, so we get x equals 1, and then for number 8, we get 8 to the -3x plus 1 equals 8. I can actually rewrite it. To the -x plus 4, right? They're the same base, so we're going to make them equal, make the powers equal. So, so we're going to go ahead and do this exact same thing we were doing. Add 3x on both sides, and then you have 1 equals 2x plus 4, right? And then you're going to go ahead and subtract 4 on both sides. you have negative 3 equals 2x. And then lastly, you're just going to divide by 2 on both sides. You get x equals negative 3 halves. Okay. Number 9, and we just have 2 more. This is literally the same kind of one that I did a few minutes ago. 9, so we have 9 to the 5x minus 2 equals 3 times 27 to the x minus 7. Okay. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna go ahead and turn this into powers of 3. So 9, so the 9 here, that's gonna be turned to 3 squared. And then to the 5x minus 2 power is equal to 3, and then you're gonna do times 3. So it's gonna be, oh, I actually did it wrong. Or no, I didn't do it wrong, I just wrote it wrong. I wrote the wrong problem. Okay, it doesn't matter. It's 3 cubed to the x minus 7. So basically from there, what you're gonna do, let's see here. So you're gonna turn this into 3 raised to the 2 times 5x minus 2 power equals 3 raised to the, or actually 3 raised to the first power times 3 raised to the 3 times x minus 7 power. Now, there's one important rule here that, like I said, it's going to be laws of exponents. Now, you can go ahead and do 3 to the 10x minus 4, because in the end, it doesn't matter whether or not you go ahead and do your distribution, like your distributive property at the very end, when I did over here. Or where did I do it? I did it like over here, for example. It doesn't really matter as long as you go ahead and as long as it's done at some point. So you can say 3 to the 10x minus 4 is equal to 3 to the, and it's going to be 3 to the first. So basically, if I have a to the b, a to the c, that's going to be a to the b plus c. Here, I have 3 to the first, and I'm going to do 3 to the first times 3 raised to the, and I'm going to go ahead and just distribute it right away so that I'm not really confused on how. I would recommend that you distribute it right away if you have some problem like this, which I really doubt they would give you something like this, and if they do, yeah, just make sure that you distribute and do your distribution before actually making it equal, because it's going to be a lot harder. Okay, so let me see, make sure that it's still recording. Okay, so this is the last one, by the way, guys. Okay, so from here, you're gonna go ahead and add these two, okay? You're gonna say 3 to the 10x minus 4 equals 3 to the, it's gonna be 3 to the 3x minus 21 plus 1, so it's gonna be 3 to the 10x minus 4 equals 3 to the 3x minus 20. not 21, I almost said 21 minus 20. Okay, so now we have the same base, so we can make it equal to each other. So we have 10x minus 4 equals 3x minus 20, and then we go ahead and we just subtract 3x on both sides, right? So 7x minus 4 equals negative 20. We're gonna go ahead and add 4 to both sides. So we have 7x, so it's gonna be 7x equals negative 16, I believe. And then we will have x equals negative 16 over 7, okay? Okay guys, so that was the entire video. It took me a good amount of time to do this. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, please let me know. Yeah, I took a little bit too long in this video, but it was 10 questions. I just really wanted to make sure that, you know, they were very well explained. So if you guys have any questions, please let me know down below in the comments, and I will do my best to answer them. And if you guys have any requests, like for any problems that y'all are doing, please let me know as well. I make math content every day, and so I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.